And it always starts with a simple question. Why am I here?
The convergence is something that I've been searching for a long time.
Exploring myself internally and externally.
Total healing is what I'm here for.
To learn more about the Ecovillage system that we have around the world.
I just feel it's the right time and the right place.
I don't know why I'm here in Maia. I don't know, but I'm just here.
Came here with a very minimal expectation, much more when I saw the place, but you know, there was just an explosion of genius among all the participants and I was amazed.
Why are you not anywhere else? It's because you know that simple food, simple conversation, simple lifestyles, like purging emotions, mental stuff, all kinds of baggage. I want to provide that to the world. What would a place look like if there were no expectations?
I've been seeing yellow and the green.
One of my dreams was to be part of this survivor kind of experiment where they put me on a boat and take me to an island and I'm there with nothing and with a whole bunch of people that I don't know, and then we're supposed to do something amazing together.
Maia EarthVillage is a place for anyone who wants to be a part of a community that is non-judgmental.
It's really a place of experimentation. What could be if we weren't being.
So the dynamic of the group dictates the growth in a certain direction or another. So it's very fluid.
Just like heaven and earth for me.
It's a piece of earth that can host emerging ideas and amazingness.
Our different space locations are based on the colors or the key of 7.
Because it's connected to chakras, it's connected to different areas of work as well.
For example, I'm living in the red, which is the ground chakra, which is the lowest vibration. People here actually come to get grounded.
Following it up into green in the middle where the heart space is, and the shala is open, it's got no walls, so the heart is really open.
Blue is the I speak. It is the throat chakra, and for the majority of this convergence we actually were housed in that blue space and we're using it for all sorts of different dialogic activities and sharings.
Whereas people who work in yellow are very active and productive.
And for example, I love that indigo is at the top of the hill and you can see everything. It's all seeing from up there. You have this perspective.
The one thing that brings all of this together is the center, and so there isn't a color in this wheel that represents the violet, but the violet is the I am.
This conversation, which answers what is Maia, is called feedback. What does it mean to send out a thought? Every single thought that emanates from you is a question. Who are we? Not as your name, not as our ego, but as history, as patterns. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the point?
It's the perfect place for me to be able to be my true self.
I came for the meeting of Convergence Emergence. The idea of its one is to bring people, like-minded people together.
It's where other people from many different eco-villages and similar interests were invited to join.
And this is a collection of people from all experiences, and each one of them is special.
It's a pool of knowledge and people.
And then they come from different backgrounds, working in different sectors like in businesses, in the NGOs, in the governments, in the education system.
To raise the question, who am I? Where are we going?
It's something like a healing of perception event.
It's just a new way of looking at the world, you know, it's just stripping away everything that has already been thought, the old thoughts, and just starting with something new that hasn't even been conceived yet.
I think it's a convergence of great ideas, great minds. People have a lot of things that they really want to do. They have a lot of concerns for the world.
Converging here in Maia and really wanting to emerge with new ideas.
The convergence is really about connecting people. like it's really one global village. So it's not really about starting a project somewhere, or it's getting doctors and teachers and artists to connect and become one community, sensing the urgency in the world around like everyone being disconnected and separated.
And to see how can we learn about what each other does, how a cross-disciplinary convergence would look like, but not through like real form.
Organically moving forward with no real direction, you know.
This is enough just to bring people into one space, and let's see what happens. So we've been organizing through flow this entire time, to the point where sometimes it didn't feel like there was any organization, but we trust that process as well.
The goal is to be simple. It's called less is more. How could we fail?
It started with the chaos. It was not organized as an institution or a structure, but yet it went well.
A place that should be suited well in an auditorium of around 80,000 people, because there's so much to learn from what the people have already dished out.
And I was wondering, how is this group going to organize itself to function for 5 days together in this space? But check it out. We did it because we're diverse, because we all have skills and intentions, and we support each other and we care for each other. That's what's happening in nature. More diversity creates more balance, more resilience. About 20,000 years ago, that humans stopped walking around the earth, stopped being nomadic people, that we settled down. We developed agriculture, and agriculture changed everything for the planet, and it changed the way we related to nature. From that time, for 20,000 years, humans have been perfecting the art of monoculture. Monoculture means a singular culture. It was adopted even by corporations to bring our minds into monoculture thinking, to make us all the same, to make us buy things and consume things, to distance us from the diversity of our planet. Let's not believe that the structures imposed on us, we cannot redesign something that fits more with what's in our hearts.
We're one, and we want to experience ourselves as one. A world without borders. We can hardly speak about it. It almost sounds unreal.
All of us want to have a home, be home, or create a home. Initially, we are the home.
Community doesn't always have to be a physical community. It can also be intuitive.
For us to be the ripple, we stay together and we start creating other homes, and the home becomes bigger and bigger and bigger.
Even according to the UN, the Ecovillage is one of the best practice models to combat global crises.
So, but the Ecovillage movement, what we're trying to say is that they're all connected, that food can be energy, can be medicine, waste can be energy.
Genoa is a network of organizations and communities and traditional villages across Asia and Oceania.
Groups that believe in nature, that believe in environment, that believe in spirituality, that believe in healthy social relationships.
We see the Ecovillage movement happening all around the world. How can we also reimagine or dream what is the new village?
And that is what we are really trying to share here in a desperate time, in an emergency, because we are in a phenomenal crisis right now.
One thing that we lost in the school, which is obvious, is we forgot how to dream.
And today we have many schools around the world, many teachers doing the same thing. Not really thinking what education is about, but simply transferring somebody's knowledge who has put it in the curriculum form of a textbook to the students.
How could we make use of these wastes that's scattered all over into something that would be beautiful, at the same time would educate the youth?
EcoBricks creates communities because it's so easy and it invites communal experiences. Oh, plastic comes from oil. Where does oil come from? What about what was in the plastic anyway? This food that I'm putting into myself. Where did that originate from? Instant noodles. Why did I buy that? How did it get here anyway? Our goal here, an eco-village of 7 billion people, What happens when I try to make a utopia for myself, when I try to make my own Garden of Eden? How can I do that when I know that somebody in another country is next to a landfill filled with the plastic I used 20 years ago? And the single piece of plastic is the grief of our entire world, enveloped in a system we neither wanted nor needed, but we're a part of. And we feel forced to be a part of, because otherwise how do we get on and how do we feed ourselves? Do I dream of a world where eco-bricks are no longer needed? And how do each of my individual actions help to create that world? I make eco-bricks because I dream of that world where they're no longer needed. And I invite you all to join me.
Forever humbled when I'm talking with the trees. And I stumbled over wonder when the puzzle was complete.
We have this nature deficit disorder. Children are growing up and they're not connected to nature. They don't know where their food comes from. Some children think their food comes in packets, plastic packets from the supermarket. We don't teach our children the names of plants and trees. They can get their fruit from a tree. That they can grow their vegetables from the ground. You know, so there's a big disconnection.
The raw food is a new experience for me. I've never lived 3 days. Forget about 3 days, not even 1 day on raw food. But here I've lived almost 3 days here on raw food.
Raw food or mono diets, eating very, very simple plant-based diets is all a part of energetically allowing the body to shift into something lighter.
I started on fruit only for 2 days, and then I did a 5-day coconut fast.
So a mono diet of coconuts or a coconut fast is putting so many electrolytes into the body. It's probably one of the most electrified foods on this planet.
I really wanted to clean my intestines, my stomach, my whole digestive system, so I only had the coconut water.
I came to understand like how your diet can affect your spirituality, the way your body works.
I think I can hear better, I can see better, I don't use my glasses.
Also a reminder that we don't need that much and that it can be this simple.
There was no lack, it was just the complete opposite. I became more full.
I feel very, very alive because all the food I eat is alive. It's not dead food, it's just life I eat.
But I think because of the diet, it's helped us to like switch into a different way of living and a different way of seeing so that we can understand what this convergence is about. And we're not being stuck here in our head and being heavy down here. We're just like really so purely in our heart because we're so light.
As children, we go through feeling everything. And then we lose it because the world that we've created no longer accommodates creativity and love.
Like, what is the new curriculum? What is the new school? It's actually becoming the same answer as what is the new hospital.
Spent so many years in medical school, putting layer upon layer, the arrogance of the mind. And we are ruled by knowledge. Knowledge is okay, but if it is no longer aligned with wisdom, then it can be destructive. We were programmed to become drug pushers. Medicine is designed to avoid pain and to avoid fear.
It's called the fear avoidance cycle. It means that the moment you experience pain is the moment you avoid it. It's the moment that that part of your body leads to atrophy, dystrophy, or depression. And all the more it becomes painful, and all the more you want to avoid it. The only one thing that will heal the fear avoidance cycle is called observation. And then recovery. But before that, there's this one point that they put there. It's called no fear.
The new way being of love and the old way being of fear. I kind of just saw that as actually to get to the root of it, to start anyone's process, is to see what is that fear, ask the right question, as you were saying, to bring that fear out and put it in the light. And as soon as it's in the light, it's already lost its power.
Regardless of the name of the disease that the doctor will give you, that we are trained to give you as an ID or a label, it still boils down to the two. So that is toxicity and deficiency. If you have a toxicity, detoxify body, mind, and spirit level. If you have a deficiency, then you nourish. The solution is nourishment. Nourish your body with food that are rich in nutrition, plant-based whole food, or nourish your mind with positive things, or nourish your emotions with love, compassion, joy, peace.
Only one fear holds everything in place. It's the fear of dying. And so what we've been doing in this community is to hold this in place. That the more ready you are to die, the less you'll die. So we're talking about something so simple that we know. How do we surrender into truth, into who we are?
To see death and birth as one was so liberating.
So inner dance is a process of going inwards, of taking a look at the self from an internal perspective.
It's an access to our energy, the answers, the flow, to universal information, to the things we already know.
For me, it's a way to relax, to release, to go into a state where I don't have to do anything.
Learning the unlearning of so many different conditionings that we might have, either based on our families or cultures, our countries, or just our state of mind.
I have learned to unlearn a lot of things. I have learned that wisdom is different from knowledge, and I have learned that we are all love.
More inspired to serve and build and just be of service.
The convergence has really given me the experience of that connectedness.
The only problem that we have is we don't pay much attention to our inner self. We always look for answers outside of us.
You know, this is how we're meant to be. We're already meant to be like this. We're meant to be living in community. You know, there's people that are still living like this, you know, like tribes obviously, you know, in the Amazon and Africa that have been living like this, you know, and for them it's totally normal, you know, but for us, you know, we're constantly searching for a deeper meaning in life, for a sense of community.
I understand now. I have the tools, I have the inspiration. It's up to me to do the doing.
There is no limit to our dreams. And from the dreams, we can actually begin to actualize whatever our heart desires.
People from all over the world are coming, and you'd think like, okay, we are not outside of society because of living in an eco-village or in a conscious community like Maia. We are actually in the middle of everything.
It's impossible to go back to the old system and be in it without thinking, but what if we made it happen?
It's just really, really overwhelming what can be done with nothing, you know? If you understand just how much nothing we put in this and how much we have this everything.
Must learn to see with the same eye a mound of earth and a heap of gold, a cow and a sage, a dog and the man who eats the dog. There's another intelligence beyond